Welcome along, everybody. First day we can really get outside. I've been waiting for this because I got some stuff here. It's a little bit nasty smelling, more so than I want to do in the basement. What we're doing, the stock off of the J series, the Savage. There's a little bit of scratching, damaging on it, not a whole bunch. What I'm going to do, I'm going to zip strip it. Oh boy, I hope you can see this. Get my viewfinder, I can see what I'm looking at. Light scratches that. Goes deeper than just the finish. It is into the wood. If you can hit the light right there, if you can catch that, there's a slight dent right there. Very, very shallow, but it's there. You got this black stuff. That usually means there was water damage of some type, and it's actually, the grain is like raising from it, or whatever you want to call that. Pretty light. I'm just going to zip strip it off. I think most of the damage I can actually just raise the grain a few times with steam, hot rag. But first we got to get it off. I'm just using plain old zip strip. And I think I'm just going to do, let me get the camera up closer so you can see. Alright, we got some better camera for you there. The old disposable paintbrushes. This is zip stripping, like I said. It's like a can of snot. You know, I think I'm just going to do half of it. And when we get done with this half, we'll roll it over and do the other half. Whoa, baby. That was enough to do about 10. So it was about 20 minutes. Depending on how many finishes you do or do not have on there, I would assume there's just 1 or 2 coats from the factory. It's not going to be too big of a deal. Hey, we're going to let that work for, like I said, 15, 20. I'm going to go in and get some kind of a plastic something or another where we can just scrape the old finish off. Alright, we're about 10 minutes into this, 15 maybe. Seems like just keeping the stuff wet. Like when it dries, it doesn't really do that much, so I just kind of been adding a little here, a little there. Went and got me some rubber gloves. Say, just take a credit card, old something. You can tell when it's coming off. Yeah. Yeah, it just rolls that stuff right off. Now you don't even need to do it, just wipe it. Just rolls up in little gumballs. I think I showed you this one time before, the bedding job on that, about the first 2 inches of barrel. Never ceases to amaze me some of the comments I get on bedding jobs. There's some kid on there now, I assume he's a kid that just ain't ever been around long enough to know any better. Watched one video on YouTube and now he thinks he knows the whole world. Nobody knows it all. We're always learning, still learning. But everything I do on this video Everything I do on my videos, glass bedding. That isn't just something that was developed yesterday. This argument of glass bedding, floating barrels, do not float the barrel. That was all done back in the 60s and the 70s. This isn't something just fresh off the press. I don't know exactly how long epoxy has been on the planet, but directly after it was invented, you know, the very first people probably bench rest shooters mating barreled actions into their stocks. It's got a lot nicer wood on this side. Well, you can see the stuff is starting just to gum up. That's been what, 3-4 minutes, 5 maybe at the most. It's a working. Get this all off, get her dried down. I'll tell you, all I'm going to do is a wet rag. You want them hot, steam them out, raise the grain. You don't need to do the whole thing just in the damaged spots. Just take a rag, dish rag, whatever you got, good and wet, not dripping wet, but good and damp. Throw that sucker in the microwave for a minute or so, smoking just hotter than hot. Just lay it right on the damaged spot and let it sit there. Let it work its magic. Just like this zip strip, you just got to sit here and let it work its magic. That didn't take very long at all. Okay, I'm going to finish this up. Go inside, get the steamer going. Okay, we got this baby done. We are in the basement. We are in the cave. I want to try to show you that, baby. If I can get it without the glare of the lights. Right there, I think you could probably see that. It's very, very light, but it's more than I want to sand out. We are going to take a smoking hot rag right out of the microwave, hotter than all get out. Just about dripping wet. You heat it, the steam, it won't be dripping wet when you get down to this point. We're just going to let that baby sit there. Maybe that'll take that damaged spot, it'll raise the grain up. And then we are going to do some sanding, but I want to keep it as light as possible. Some of these things in here are so small, I don't even think I'm going to worry about them. Character. Yeah, character marks, that's what they are. Okay, we'll let that one set on there for about 4 or 5 minutes, basically till the rag was cool. You can tell exactly where it's at, but sanding, we're going to take that out. Right through here, there's some roughage. We're going to do the exact same thing. Ooh, that baby's hot. I don't know what you got for a microwave. I don't even know what I have for a microwave, but a minute 20 with a wet rag. That's all it takes. Say if this raises it completely and I can sand all them dents out, I'm happy with that. If they're just a little bit there yet, I got no issues with that either. It's a used gun. We're just going to make it look a little prettier. If it's got a couple scrapes and scars on it, you just call that character. I'll stay away from that checkering a little bit. That's in very good shape and I don't want to do any damage to it. That one right there was probably the deepest one in the whole gun. I'm going to say it's just about completely gone. A little bit of it left in there. I'm going to be careful with this. You don't want to come around here and destroy that line. Of course, 400 grit sandpaper, I'm probably not going to do too much to it anyway. Okay, we have sanded this thing, and we have sanded. The process of getting the dust off, I just use a wet sponge, get the dust off. You raise the grain again every time you do that with water. I've done it 3 times. I think we're down smooth enough. You can still see some of these things, and that's like say I have no issues with those. It is a used gun. I'm not going to worry about. I'm going to call it character and history. Okay? In the process of sanding, what's got me going now, I sanded so much. I almost got a perfect fit back on the recoil, on the butt pad now. But I sanded so much, you know, they stain that. The stain goes into all the little pores and you can see your grain line in it. Down here I sanded so deep, I'd taken some of that and you can see it looks like it's bleached out. So I'm going to have to restain it. I didn't know if I was going to get by without doing that or not. And then I've been steel wooling. That's the last thing you want to do. Steel wool the heck out of it. This thing is down just as smooth and silky smooth. Get all the dust off. I'm kind of contemplating whether I want to put a walnut color stain back on it, being it's a piece of walnut. But I like red in a gun stock. I don't know why. About 6-7 years ago, I built a 50 cal side lock muzzle loader. That was maple, and I used Lancaster. Laurel Mountain Forge Lancaster maple. It's a red stain for maple. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like on walnut, but I'm about to find out. Oop. God dang it, I got a right hand and a left hand glove. Hopefully it's just going to put a hint. It's still going to be walnut, obviously, but just a hint of red. And I guess if it doesn't come out, you just steel wool. Oh, heck. That's going to be sharp. Well, it's going to sit till tomorrow. I'll steel wool it back a little bit to where I like it. I'll figure out what I'm going to put on there for a sealer. We shall return.